what Felicia asked me to talk about today was CSA, or Community Supported Agriculture. And it's something I had never heard of until I went to visit our good friend Denise in the Hamptons. And she was working at a little farm called Amber Waves Farm, run by two young girls in their 30s. And she started talking about the CSA, and it was like, what exactly is that? And it's a method for these young farmers or for small farms to engage the community, to give back to the community, but also to get funding. So what you do is you sign up for a share pretty early in the season. Quite often the shares run out by about February, and you pay ahead of time. And it is literally seed money that you are giving them. So they have funds to plant and to start raising their produce. And what you buy into is a weekly sort of like birthday box. It's really fun. So I was going to show you, this is what I picked up yesterday. I've used up a little bit of it, but like, you know, fantastic spring onions. There's really fun eggplant, white eggplant. I had to look online to see what this was. We have chard, beautifully brightly colored chard is here. Endless amounts of lettuce, zucchini, and then even some like colored cucumbers. And
Carolyn,
yes,
Carolyn, I have my first question. The first question is, where's our local CSA? I was just trying to be like, okay, I'll sign up for a CSA next year, but like, do you have it? Do you know?
One here. So it was a random, I think it might have even been Instagram. It was something random that I just saw and clicked through. So Darien has one, and that's what I was going on to say. It's a farm called Stone Ledge Farm, which I think is maybe about an hour, at least an hour away from here. But they come every Wednesday. They come and they deliver, and then we just get the box so I can do my show and tell.
For those of us who don't live in Darien, it's okay.
Yes. So you get a little box, and this is full of vegetables. I think they may also deliver to like New Canaan and things, but I think what you have to do is just type in CSA near me. And apparently they are kind of all over the place. If you're not in Darien, I mean, you could still come and pick up in Darien, and you're not limited to where, you don't have to be a resident of Darien to sign up for this. But I think they probably do Westport, New Canaan. I have seen that there are other locations, but I'm sure there are other farms near you, because apparently this started, I think, in the 80s, and it was Rudolf Steiner who apparently kind of like was the inspiration for the movement, and something called biodynamic farming, which is like organic farming meets the kind of like mystical side of life. But it really is, it's really branched into basically our small organic farms all over the country. So I think there are ones that are local, but where do you live then? Who else?
Sorry, I muted myself. I'm in Greenwich, so it wouldn't be too much of a problem.
I think this may also stop in Greenwich. Go on Stone Ledge Farm. The other thing, so I don't know if Miss Eddie gets it, but I get a fruit share. So I got cherries and blueberries. I dropped off at the same time. I get a mushroom share. So I get a bag of mushrooms, and I get a coffee share. So I get once a month 2 pounds of coffee, all delivered on the same thing. And then, and it's not Stone Bridge, it's Stone Ledge. Stone Ledge.
Sorry, guys. All right, cool. No, I can't. All right.
And then ours also has, you can order food ahead on Monday. You can order like 5 pounds of mushrooms or extra blueberries or extra of anything that you like. And they have honey, and they have a number of other products.
Yeah,
so it's been kind of fun. Our family looks forward and they give you an email on Monday telling you what's coming and with recipes. So it's kind of nice, because I didn't know what to do with 3 different color cucumbers, but now I do.
Always the fun thing with a CSA, right? I mean,
Well, there's a lot around them. The first couple of weeks, there was a lot of lettuce and kale and like weird things that kind of, actually, when I looked up online, they were really weeds that you could eat. I have them in my garden, apparently. So, the first few weeks I was a little overwhelmed with all the stuff that came in. But this week, it was so much fun to open up the box. There was definitely so much more variety and just, I'm sorry, just gorgeous little things like this. These are just lovely. And I'd never seen different colored cucumbers. So, you know, all good. The other thing that this one doesn't do, but Denise, when I was talking to her, was saying that the one that she has out in the Hamptons, they also interact with the community, and they've like partnered with Clarissa, which is the upmarket bakers, and you can also order bread with your CSA box. And I think, I can't remember what she was saying, but they've also gone into the community and partnered with some of the local shops, like cheese and things that you can order through. So it's just kind of fun. And the cost of it for this, I mean, I think in some parts of the country, it is a way to get cheaper organic produce. I haven't really costed this, the farmer's market, I think, is very expensive. This seems to work out at around about $30 a week. It was $595 up front, but that is from July or June all the way through to Thanksgiving. So, you know, it seems, is it good value? I don't know. It just feels as though you're being part of something. So, any other questions? Oh, the other thing that I was looking at, apparently the CSA thing has also been really good for female farmers. That 40% of CSAs are run by female farmers. So it's a way for them to get involved in a fairly male-dominated environment. So anyway, I'm going to move this out of the way. So Ginger may have been here when I first tried this recipe. So the recipe I'm going to share with you today is zucchini fritters. And Ginger and I are both part of the Darien Community Association Greenhouse group. And one of the lovely things that we do most summers is we go and visit each other's gardens. We go for like a cocktail hour, and we sit and drink wine, and then we go around and just admire everyone's plants. And then we get home before dark. It's very, very civilized. And generally, but it's also the time of night when I tend not to eat during the day. Quite often, I arrive somewhere and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm starving. So we went to this lovely woman, Eve's house, and she had these zucchini fritters. I probably polished off about a dozen of them. I was just like wolfing them down. So she very kindly shared the recipe. And it's one of those things, it's a kind of a base recipe. So it doesn't have to be zucchini. You could do this with leeks. You could do this with sweet corn. You could probably add a little bit of, I don't know, lobster or crab or something in it, you know. So basically you start off with a batter and you add things into it. But the ones that she showed me, and this is what I'm going to share with you, is zucchini, especially the time of year when you get loads and loads of them in. So I have already grated these. So this is 4 kind of like fairly small zucchini, and I was just going to share some of my favorite equipment with you. I have a microplaner. No, it's not a microplaner. Oh gosh, my brain's... What's it called? Mandolin. Mandolin. So I find this was a great way of grating it. You could use just a regular box grater as well, but I quite like this. It kind of gave nice sort of thin pieces.
Or a shredding blade in the food processor.
I don't have a food processor.
I don't either.
What?
I need one.
I really hate cleaning, and I just find it it's huge. I don't have that much space to store it. I don't know where it would have to live in a cupboard. And once something goes into a cupboard, it very rarely comes out again. So this just takes up so much less space. And it's also what I use for slicing cucumbers for my afternoon teas. So
I'm laughing at you, Carolyn, but those things scare the heck out of me unless you have one of those hand guards, but like.
I have a hand guard. When we're doing afternoon teas, I am the only one who's allowed to slice cucumbers. I take that responsibility upon myself. So the other thing we're going to do is this recipe uses some grated lemon zest. I love this. So I'm just going to share my 2 favorite things in the kitchen. So grated lemon zest. So this is a microplaner, and it's just really fun. I use it for everything, but it just, you know how sometimes just things make you happy when you use them? So I would definitely recommend adding this to your kitchen equipment. And finally, this has also been just, I don't know, again, just makes me very happy. So if you're grating things, it's a good way of, let me show you, you can sort of scoop things off. I use it for pastry, I use it for everything. So that's just my little throw-in tip. So what you do with the zucchini, this is 4 zucchini, is you grate them and you Then you put like about 2 teaspoons of salt over them and let them sit for maybe 10-15 minutes, because what you're trying to do is take as much liquid out of them as possible. So these have sat for a little while, and then the best thing to do to actually get the liquid out is to get a clean tea towel, and then you're just going to squeeze. Hopefully we'll get some liquid out of this. Let's see. Move this out of the way.
Squeeze it. Liquid in.
All these like vegetables, like zucchini and cucumber, which there's not that much in there. It's just the tea towel's wet, but I'm not getting much. Actually, can you see?
Oh.
I'm actually squeezing them. So you don't want that in your mixture because it'll make them soggy. So out of those 4 zucchini, we have got maybe a couple of tablespoons of liquid. You can keep going with this, or you can be like me and get a bit bored. We'll decide that's enough. So let me just show you. Can you see how? Like there, look, all that liquid has just come out of the zucchini. So we're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to take the rest of the ingredients. So it's a cup of flour and some 1 teaspoon of baking powder and a little bit of pepper. And we're just going to mix that. We're going to mix the baking powder into the flour. And like I say, this is your kind of basic recipe: the flour, the baking powder. And then we're going to take all the zucchini, put that in a bowl. And to that, we're going to add, now, and the recipe, I think I've said, did I say chives? But I didn't have any chives, but I do have these garlic scapes. And this is one of the things that we seem to get every week. Let me show you in our box. Didn't quite know what to do with them. I think this is the bit at the end of the garlic. It's like the not bulb bit. But I don't use garlic because I find it quite bitter and I quite often burn it. But I've been throwing this in kind of into everything. So rather than using
Someone else made garlic scape pesto is the thing that they recommended if you have a lot of them. Sue Hayes did.
I did actually. I put some. I was making pesto the other day, and I did put some garlic scapes. It's quite a strong taste though, and you can smell it from it because it's garlic. So anyway, so I've just done a little bit of that. Throw that in there, and then we have the grated zest of half a lemon. So we're just going to put that in there. Let me see if I actually check this whole recipe out. Make sure I'm doing this in the right order. Right, zucchini, herbs, lemon zest, a little bit more salt, because when you drain it, you actually take a lot of the salt out. So you do need to put a little bit more salt in. The pepper's in there. And then I've just got 2 eggs, which I've beaten up. So we're going to mix that together. And then we're going to just add the flour in. Do it with this fork. And that's it. And we're just going to, it looks a little dry to me actually.
How many eggs did you say you added?
That was 2 eggs.
Okay.
But I think that, to me, that looks a little dry, so I might add a little bit more.
When you make crab cakes, you're saying you use that same basic recipe just with crab?
No, I use the Ina Garson crab cake recipe. She puts all sorts of yummy things in. But I'm saying you could adapt this recipe because that's basically what the crab cakes don't really have flour. They have breadcrumbs, I think, and like she puts peppers and stuff like that in it. So I think this is a little dry. So I might add. Let me just get another egg.
I wonder if it would work with almond flour.
I'm sure they'd work with gluten-free flour.
Yeah.
might have put too much flour in here. Right. I might just put the whole of the egg in. See how it works. Now that looks a bit better. So you're trying to get something that resembles a batter with zucchini in it. Okay.
When we were young, we used to use all the leftover zucchinis and make a Texas chocolate sheet cake with zucchini, and it made all the moisture from the zucchini. And we just loved those football-sized zucchinis because we knew that we were going to get a Texas sheet cake out of them.
I don't remember. So in the UK, we call these courgettes. I'm just going to move you across my kitchen now because I need to use my frying pan. If I need to figure out if I can get this to work. I don't remember zucchini.
What did other people do with leftover zucchinis? It's always kind of a fun one. Zucchini bread.
Oh yeah, we used to make zucchini bread at camp. I remember that. Chocolate chip zucchini bread.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good.
We've been eating a ton of grilled zucchini. So we just put salt, pepper, a little olive oil, and grill it. And it has been, I would say, the majority of what the Morgans have eaten as a side vegetable because everybody loves them.
Carolyn, what kind of oil did you put in the pan?
I just use olive oil for everything.
Okay.
Good old Trader Joe's olive oil. And you want this to get quite hot. And we're just going to put, so you have a choice of size. I like making everything I do quite small because then you can have more than one. And they're also easier to move around the pan.
Will you tell us a little bit about why you'd use a cast iron pan versus a non-stick pan and what the trade-offs are? So
I'm not anti non-stick by any means. But a lot of people are, like they won't have them, like half of our greenhouse group probably wouldn't have a non-stick pan in their kitchen. But this, I've kind of fallen in love with this. I've got this and I've got a really heavy stainless steel one. But this is what I'm now starting to do my, my sous vide steaks in. This is just phenomenal. And you can see, I mean, I've had this for probably 25 years. So it's really well seasoned.
Is that one like a frittata one or something? I mean, it's long and low.
I make frittata. I can make frittatas. And this is what I make my big frittatas in. Yes.
Virginia, it's 25 years old.
I think.
Well, so think of the design back. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm looking and going, my mother had a pan like that until I think my father ruined it in the dishwasher. I'm not kidding.
I don't think your father could have ruined this in the dishwasher. It's not possible. I know I had this when I was in Wimbledon, and I had it when my children were very small. My son is now 26. So I think it kind of predated that. And I remember we had friends around once, and the guy was a designer. I think he designed like the French press or something. He was a really kind of apparently very well-known designer. And he saw this pan and he was just like, he fell in love with it because apparently it was like, your classic. Anyway, so I tried to use this. And obviously now it'll probably go horribly wrong. So we're just going to take little, I'll just do a few so you can see. But I've started using this for lots and lots of things now because we seem to.
And is the trick you don't wash it in the wash machine, you just wipe it off as it stays?
I don't. My husband doesn't let me put things like big pans in the dishwasher anyway. So we have I have a small non-stick pan that I use for eggs. But like I was making, like I said, I did steaks in these recently. I made crab cakes recently. They give quite a nice finish. So we're just going to put a few of these on. Felicia, it's a shame we weren't having the cocktail party tonight. We could have had the. So this is and I have to show you, this is my other favorite thing. It was a gift from a fellow chef. I'd never used it before. This is not 25 years old. It's something called an offset spatula. And again, I don't know how I lived without this. So you can see the light's not great for here. I'll show you. I'll take them out in a minute. So I'm just turning them. They've just got a slight brine on them. Let me turn this light off and see that. Oh, no, even worse. Once I've done them, I'll show you them in proper light. So as you can see, it's not taking very long at all for these to color up. We're just going to press them down. So what you can serve these with, like I say, these are great as a little appetizer with drinks. But they would also work. I served them the other night as the vegetable with our main course, because they're sort of a starch. And like I said, I've only really done this with these, but I'm desperate to make some with sweet corn. And I think it was Nina Gorton recipe that I saw. She did sweet corn and lobster, I think, for her ones. So you know. So that's
if
them.
you're dressing them up for an appetizer, do you put like salmon and a little dollop of sour cream, or what do you do?
In 2 seconds. Right, so let's take these off. And you could drain them first in a piece of paper towel, but I'm just going to tell you about that, and I'm not going to show you. So let me take that off. So I think when we got these at Eve's house, Ginger, she had, and that's what I'm going to show you, she had a dipping sauce. Let me just put these over. I'll move you back so you can see what I'm doing. Here we are, guys. Right. So there we have zucchini fritters. And as Ginger says, I'm going to show you how we're going to end up with presenting them. So we've got a little bit of sour cream. I'll just put in this bowl. And you can leave it like that. Just squeeze some lemon in. If you don't have sour cream, I'll just put this back up. If you don't have sour cream, then creme fraiche would be nice, or just some like plain Greek yogurt would work too. We're just going to do that. And then I sometimes use a piping bag, because if I'm doing lots of these, but without the piping bag, you can just put a little piece on the top of each of these. You can use two spoons, sometimes it's easier. Or if you wanted, actually, the other thing you can do is, if you're doing a lot of these, you could take like a Ziploc bag, fill it with the cream, and just cut the edge off. We're just there. So a little bit. And then I would put chives on this, but again, it didn't have any chives. So what I've got instead, and these are fabulous, I got this in last week's box, is these are the fronds from fennel. And I use these in my orange and beet salad because they look really pretty, but they're also just the sort of thing that is actually kind of fun to garnish with. These are the sort of things that you'd normally throw away.
How do you store, so like the fennel or the salad or the lettuce? So that's my problem with the share box, is I put it directly in my refrigerator, taking it out of the box, and things wilt and they look kind of yucky.
I was finding the lettuce wilts quite a lot, and I'm wondering if you need to either use it very quickly or take it off. And like my new big thing, right, let me just show you. My other thing that I've just recently invested in, which I, again, didn't have room for before, was salad spinner. Because I'm very lazy and just buy all those big boxes of ready washed salad. But since we could get them in from the CSA and I've been growing some, that is quite useful. So I'm suspecting it would be really useful to take all the lettuce off, spin it, and then actually keep it either in a bag or something. But these are from last week. So
it actually says to store it in one of those spinners, but we get 3 heads of lettuce, and my thing is, do we have 3 spinners sitting in my refrigerator then?
Take the leaves off is what I'm saying. So take off the bottom, actually wash them, prepare them, and put them in. You know, it makes you wonder how they do it commercially, but you know, lettuce will last about 2 weeks in your fridge. But I did I wash these and then put them in a Ziploc bag. So they still seem to be good. So I'm just going to show you. This is my little plate with zucchini fritters and a little bit of fennel garnish. So that was easy. So thank you very much for listening to me and for joining me.